Merck has developed. It's in its second trials, knocks out the covert instantly.
Nice.
Yeah.
Get it coming.
You didn't see this?
No, but I've been avoiding the news for about the last 11 months or so. So I'm not very reliable. I depend on you to send
I'll
me
send you
out.
the article.
Okay.
I was fascinated with that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Maybe his assistant didn't give it a memo.
Well, if you sent it board email. This is gonna be hard to get used to.
And there we are.
Did you see that trailer?
I did.
Hey, good. Are you ready?
Not quite large enough for us.
Oh, $500.
Okay. All right, thanks.
Well, that was a starting
Yep.
bid. It was bid.
Too big?
No, it was a bidding, like a auction. So it started at 500. By the time I looked at it, it was up to 23.
You should have bought the old school bus and turned it into a house because that's what everybody's doing right now.
If it were just Colton and I,
All right, I'll put you on speaker.
You'd have to move to Pennsylvania though.
go wherever, if it's for the right price.
7 on the dot.
All right. Let's call a meeting to order. Ms. Clerk, could you determine if there's a quorum present, please?
Richard Meyer.
Here.
Hank Nordoff.
Here.
Kenny Galley.
Here.
Amanda Reinhardt.
Here.
Carrie Hugo.
Here.
Also in attendance, you have Superintendent Palud, Board Clerk Lisa Darden, and Dean of Students Nolan Kirby. Madam Chair, you have a quorum.
Thank you. Okay, let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Could I please have a motion to approve the consent agenda, which includes the agenda?
Do we have to do the agenda first?
Sorry. It says consent agenda twice. Yes.
Okay.
A motion to approve the agenda, please.
I move we approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yes, on all these checks, my ongoing complaint has been, it's better to see the summary and to see how we're doing year to date on each budget item, to see where we're underspent or overspent.
Those came in your email today. Those reports come every month.
Yeah, they came in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was not working, so I didn't pull it up, but.
Rich, you can barely hear you if that's Rich speaking.
It is. Hank, you're sat right next to me because I tend to speak
Yeah,
the
you-
softest.
Yeah,
Oh,
what I was mentioning is that I wanted to see the summary, and I guess the summary went out in an email.
We missed the email
Yeah, I missed.
today.
Today, yeah.
Yeah, I think ultimately the goal should be to have that report in the packet, if that's possible.
It's very difficult to get the months before's done when it's right at the first of the month when we have to get the board packets out.
Maybe if we could do a summary. This is actually consent agenda versus agenda, but should we wait for a second or just handle it now?
Well, we have a
Up to you.
second. Let's go ahead and vote.
Okay.
Unless you have a change to the agenda, Rich?
No.
No, okay. All those in favor, say aye.
Hi.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. So then that brings us to the approval of the consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I move we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Okay.
Okay. But, so to Rich's point, what if we did, like a summary? What if we were just a month behind? What if just so that because it's coming out so close that we're not really having the opportunity to review it. What if last month's came so that it's still there as a topic for conversation if needed? Is that relevant or not? Would that be a good idea? Or
What if we were to see something on there that was an issue that maybe, you know, she missed or just, then it would have already gone out.
well, not the bills, because the reports are more for the summary. It's more like the spend to budget. So even if we're a month behind, it's still visibility into it.
Well, or you could just, when you put the packet together, do the year to date to whatever date the packet's going out. And it doesn't have to be in month increments, so you don't have to worry about it being a complete
Okay,
month
I
so
can do that.
quickly before the,
Absolutely. I can do that as of the board packet date, yeah.
awesome, that would be great. Does that sound good?
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
Because, it's so easy to kind of go through all these checks here, and we really don't know if we're overspent or things are moving around. I mean, we've had experience where a superintendent was bouncing figures all over the place.
And those have been going out every month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a few months there that they were a little late.
Yeah, well, I think it's just because I tend to read the packet over the weekend. And then I don't think about the board meeting as much as I should on the day of the board meeting. So it's easy to miss the email if it comes, be prepared. So if that's not too much trouble, just have it due to the date of the packet. And even if that's not a complete month
Not a
increment.
problem at all.
Is there a software that we could be having that would allow you to do this? I mean, industry has great software that takes you moment to moment.
Well, she can do it, she just needs to change the dates, because she's saying that by the time the board packet comes out, that's like the second day of the month or the third day
Yeah,
of
I
the
don't
month.
always
And
have
so
it.
not everything is entered for that prior month
I
yet.
see.
So if we just have it to whatever you have entered,
Yeah, we
at the
pick
time
it
of the
up
packet.
Eventually.
Yeah.
And then get mad at that point.
We're not.
No, we're not.
We're not.
any more discussion on the minutes, monthly bills? Anything else? No? Okay, all those in favor, say aye.
Hi.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. That brings us to enrollment. Any discussion on enrollment?
No.
No? Okay, how about the finance report? Lisa, I don't know if you want to have to read that or not, but you're welcome to if you'd like to.
I'm continuing to work with Jen at Hayden and Ross and Danette Cordell to make sure we're on track and on time with our audit for this year. We've been working to correct coding issues from previous years and clean up our books, making sure our trial balance is accurate and double checking all coding to ensure correct information is given to Mr. Palud for budgeting purposes is our top priority. Cindy will be working on the transportation ridership report due this month, and Nikki continues to work on the IC upload, which is due March 19th. Although it will be an ongoing task, we are getting closer to most of our files, which will be kept forever, entered into our electronic file system. This was a huge undertaking for the three of us, but it is providing for a more organized and user-friendly office. If you require any information, please feel free to reach out to me via email.
Awesome. Thanks, Lisa.
Lisa, could you remind me what we do on internal control? I know there's not a specific section of the audit on internal control, but do they do a cursory examination to see that on the at the highest level there are no problems and it's not worth doing an internal control memorandum?
No, they do it, and it's part of the audit report, and I could provide you with last year's audit if you'd like to look at it so you can see what they do.
Do they make that statement where, we've looked for indications that there is a problem in internal control, seeing none, we didn't think it was necessary to go any further? Is that the basic statement they make?
Something along those lines. They do check internal controls.
Alrighty, that's good enough for me.
Thank you.
Okay, anything else? Okay, that brings us to the maintenance report. I can summarize it for our audience. The new HVAC system has been installed and is operating. They're still fine tuning it. And the new bell control system has been installed and is undergoing programming. Who knew the bell system was so expensive and complicated?
I love that we have the information in there. It'd be good to include where, like for the HVAC system, like where.
Oh, which school?
Which school, just because anyone that hasn't read the couple other 2 meetings wouldn't know.
Is that the middle school? High school. Okay. Patrons' comments? Nobody? Dealer? Okay. You sure? All right, out of district requests. We have a,
Yeah, we have them, but we are not able to take action on them tonight. I just noticed that. That's what I pointed out to Amanda.
oh, because it doesn't say
have
action item.
So it's okay. It can wait till next meeting.
I had a question. Is this grade 1 or 2? Because I've got 2 sheets in here with the same name.
Yeah.
One is for this year and one is for next year.
If in the agenda,
They both say 2020.
no, they don't.
Oh, no.
But if you look at the agenda item, it says out of district 2021, and then the next agenda item is 21-22. Yep, she's all over it, just that we have to wait till next time.
So our waiting doesn't do anything to affect the applicants?
No. Nope, we're good.
I mean, okay.
Okay. Hiring of special ed paraprofessional. Do I have a motion to approve the recommendation?
I move we approve the recommendation for the special education paraprofessional.
Second.
Any discussion?
Do we know anything about this person compared to the other applicants?
Yes, this person's been already, what has she been subbing in the library or working in the library?
Yeah, she has been a substitute for various different positions for longer than I've been here. She's applied for other positions and has always seemed to come in just second place.
She's a grandmother of a couple of our students here too, but
Correct.
really involved in the community and the school.
So,
Okay. And she's qualified, she meets all the qualifications necessary for this?
so,
Okay.
yeah, I would like to see the job description and qualification included in the packet, as well as the applicant's application for the person that we're hiring. Typically, those are included, and we don't, not, the application is included, not necessarily the description. So if we could, in the future, include that description in the application so we can,
We'll have job descriptions next time.
Yeah, I mean,
even
you're
the
kind of
posting
approving
would have
it
been
on
something
the-
to compare it to at this time, right? Like, there's just.
And so you like what, job description and what else?
So currently, there's a line in here on in the packet where it says posted information. And that still has all just template information. It doesn't actually tell us when it was posted, or it doesn't give us the example of the job posting. So it's close. We've got the number of applicants. We're moving forward in the right direction, including that information. It's just that posted information line is still just, we're just missing the stuff captured there. So the description,
Oh, yeah.
and then the copy of the application so that we can verify that, okay, this is what we described and this is what the applicant's history or qualifications are.
Yeah, I mean, basically, the reasons for hiring, the fact that she has been on campus, for a long time, is well known, has grandchildren in there, I think that's persuasive. But to put some of this information without giving you the basis for the decision is kind of light. So I agree with Amanda.
I do as well.
Okay. Any more discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Facility updates. Do we have,
Nothing real crucial. Just started a folder on the playground. So I'm going to talk with the PTO this Thursday at their meeting and just start that conversation. See what happens.
How do you pick the toys to put out there on the playground?
budget?
Combination of the budget, that's one of the reasons I'll be talking with the PTO I went online and just picked some random things, show them, get their feedback. Hey, what do you think kids would be more interested in? And you can get toys from $1,500 up to over $100,000. So there's a wide range of different things that we can combine. And then again, looking at our available space. So factoring those three things.
Do you check with the other schools, like in Coeur d'Alene or whatever, what kids like? Where do they hang out?
Have them vote.
Yeah, cigarette machine, yeah.
A, B, or C.
Wait, I'm trying to recall like you versus Dennis time. And so I'm going to repeat myself and I'm sorry if we've already talked through it, but Ellie, so she just purchased all the playground equipment for the milling center and she actually has a background in landscape design architect. Okay, just as long as she's there. If she's not there because of other commitments, I think she'd be a great resource to check in with. I mean, she was willing to participate on the board. So if she knew that, okay, cool, awesome.
Anything else before we jump into job descriptions? Okay. So how do we want to do this?
We want to open it first and then read.
Yeah, I just didn't know if we wanted to do them as one big.
I personally think maybe if we open it and then talk through how we want it, I don't know. Is that right?
Well, the motion needs to either be to approve all of them or to approve them one at a time. That's what I was asking.
I don't even know that I want to do
Well,
it.
I've read them all with great boredom, and there's absolutely nothing I can add or detract from any of them. They all look fine to me.
Well, how about we have a motion to approve them all, and then if we need to dissect them, we can.
Yeah.
Okay.
I move we approve.
Well, I
the-
think Rich had a question about a couple. Did you not, Rich?
Yeah, I just need to open it first. So I move that we approve the job descriptions as presented.
I'll second that motion.
Okay.
Okay.
So now I think we all have,
Kimmy already had a second. Okay.
so I think potentially for me, a one at a time approach, but I almost am not sure we need to move through all of them
Only the
today.
ones that we have- oh,
So I think there's a lot of material here that, I'm not sure we could get through in a meeting. I mean, I think that I have more questions than would be a good use of our time in a board meeting. While we certainly could go through them, I kind of would rather know. And I asked Wade some of these questions, but didn't really have a chance to do any action because it's today. So I'd like to know, which jobs we have that are either open or we expect to be open within the next short period of time, because I think those are the ones we would want to tackle first.
I don't think,
Well, we have 3 open right now. So, so we've got a starting spot. And
The principal and the 2 coaches.
the athletic director, the special education director is on the agenda, the principal. We just approved hiring for the special ed paraprofessional. So we have 3 or 4 right now that would be top of mind and probably more pressing than the rest potentially.
And Rich has comments on one.
Well, I wanted to amend, and I don't know which one to amend, of these accounts payable clerk and this, the other one. Was the clerk of the board to add the wording report year-to-date spending and remaining funds for each account at the monthly board meeting. I was going to put that in as where it says keep financial records. I have that as the number 1 issue. I mean, put this way, when I've been in this position of managing the budget, that was the most critical thing for me.
Okay, so we have special ed, para,
Mhm.
principal.
Yep.
Athletic,
Mhm.
clerk, and whatever the first one, accounts payable clerk.
And coach.
Right. And the only other comment I had was that we had a principal job description that we went into great detail about. And maybe this is just a repeat, and another one for the superintendent. And if these replace those or the same things being represented, I just don't know.
And exactly. So I'd like to know if we had one starting, what that looked like and what the changes are for any that were existing before we started this process. So I think that's an important thing for us to know is if we're changing it, why we're changing it. And make
The
sure.
ISBA job descriptions. So what we have for the principal and the superintendent is what we put into policy under the description of those two jobs in the administrative section, which I don't know how that differs policy-wise from these job descriptions. I'm trying to think like where these job descriptions fit into our policy, because this is a whole job. I can't remember if there's just a policy that refers to all these job descriptions, or if these are actually.
The only job descriptions that I could find were the principal, superintendent, and superintendent slash.
Right.
We don't have anything else.
Wade, I can't hear you at all, sorry.
I'm sorry, I'm wrong. So the only job descriptions I could find were superintendent, principal, and a superintendent slash principal position. I could find no other job descriptions anywhere at all.
So my suggestion would be, I mean, we customize those based on our needs at the time and our expectations at the time. So my suggestion would be that we re-look at these job descriptions and discuss whether these are sufficient to cover our current scenario, which is different than our scenario.
So I actually think that a workshop on the job descriptions might not be bad use of time instead of just the board meeting. I mean, some of my questions would be like, well, one, it'd be handy to have that list because I was really struggling because I can't even use the search on it. So then to remember what all job descriptions are in here, there wasn't like a list up front of which ones we're tackling. I'm not sure if that's inclusive of all of the job descriptions in the school or if this is just some set. I don't know if this is like a subset.
That is all the ones that I thought we either have or in the near future would.
Okay. Okay, so then if we've got a complete packet, I mean, I think we could go through it right now. I don't feel like I had enough time ahead of time for this amount of information to ask great questions and make good use of the time. I'd rather see either a workshop or to bring it back next month, unless there's anything we really need to have agreement on today. Because I have a lot highlighted and I don't think that that's really, I would rather just sit down and work through it if everyone else doesn't have.
Workshop.
I think so.
Yeah.
I'd be down for that.
So maybe for the end of the meeting, we can look at the calendar, figure out when a workshop would be. Is that okay with you? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like we need to have more discussion than is reasonable for one board meeting, especially with all the policies. Is everyone okay with that?
I know you love
Does it matter? I'm outnumbered anyway.
No, it doesn't. Okay.
You don't want to be here as long as I have questions.
True that.
You're gonna have to be busy for the workshop, is that what you're saying?
I feel a move coming on.
Okay, so let's see. Do we have to vote to table it? No, I forget. We can just table it.
Just
Okay.
table it, yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm not gonna be sad to just push right through all this. Focus on it more closely in a workshop.
That really thins out the top of it.
It did.
Okay, family exit survey, which is informational. Wade, you want to?
The board tasked me last fall to create one. So if the family were to consider a student from the district, we can give this to them and hopefully encourage them to fill out.
Again, Wade, I'm sorry, I can't hear you. I can hear noises, but I can't interpret the
You
sound.
have to pass the mic.
We're moving the phone a little, Hank. We'll see if that helps.
Is this better, Hank?
Okay.
Last fall, the board tasked me with creating a family exit survey so that if a family were to leave our district, we could ask them to fill out the survey and see why they're leaving, if there was something that we could have done differently or better in order to keep them. And this is the result of that. Just throwing it at you to see what you think.
I love that we're going to do this. I looked through some other exit surveys for other school districts and have a couple examples I pulled. But the one thing I saw in common with quite a few that I looked at was that would you recommend the school district to another family and why? And I just feel like that's always such a telling, right? When you're employed somewhere or you go to a restaurant, people are like, well, would you go back? I think that one really uncovers a lot. But I don't know if that's just, and I saw it as a common thread out there, so might be one to consider including.
Sure.
And I was really glad we didn't have some of the other scenarios going that I saw questions regarding, so made me happy that this kind of covers us right now.
See, I'm just thinking realtors run into this a lot.
I do. And so, and the question is, would you enroll your kids there or not? And if not, why? Right? Or if so, why? So that's a pretty telling question.
You never say no, do you?
I can wholeheartedly recommend Kootenai at this time.
Any other suggestions or recommendations?
I love it. It's great.
I'll add that and I'll get these to the secretaries and they can start using them as necessary.
Thank you. Okay,
I have one
resignation.
question. Should this be a policy or not?
I
It's just a procedure.
I don't think we need to have it as.
Procedures when they become policies. Okay, either
Policies
way,
then have to be, I mean, we could still review it and
if it's
So
a
you just-
policy, the next superintendent wouldn't throw it out.
If it's an embedded practice, next superintendent.
If the next
Do
superintendent,
anything else in addition to coaching football?
oh, hold on one second, Hank. If the next superintendent threw it out, then we could put it into policy.
Okay,
If we need to do that, but,
Or just tell them to do it. Or.
yeah, good point, because they're supposed to do what we say. Exactly. Wow. And it doesn't have to be policy.
usually.
Then if they still don't do it, then we can make it a policy. Okay, sorry, Hank. Hank had a question if Doug,
Oh, we're not quite there.
oh yeah, we need a motion. Thanks,
I
Amanda.
move that we accept the resignation of the head football coach.
second.
Okay.
Second.
Hank, you can't hear Kimmy. Now she's the one whispering down at the end of the table and she's seconding everything before you get a chance to do it.
Oh, I won't second anymore. I'll get really honest.
It's okay, that's okay.
Way to go, Kimmy. This guy, was he exclusively the head high school football coach, or did he have other duties at the school?
He is our full-time K-12 physical education teacher. He was also the athletic director and he was requested to leave the football coach, and he also coaches basketball
And he drives a bus.
and substitute bus drives.
Does a
Wow.
lot.
Why is he leaving?
I think he's burnt out.
Yeah.
Understand why.
He's been doing it for many years and has done a great job. He's just,
Is he retiring essentially, or he's?
No, he's still teaching.
Oh,
And
okay.
he
This is just football coach.
Just the
and just
coaching and
athletic.
athletics.
He
Okay.
didn't resign K through 12 PT basketball yet or bus driving.
He's cutting back.
So he's giving us football only. Does he have
And
any
athletic-
recommendations for
And
his
athletics
successor?
director.
I haven't spoken to him about that yet.
But it's gonna be pretty difficult to hire only a football coach, isn't it?
No,
Not necessarily.
So it'll be a part-time football coach.
Our coaches are all contract, and so most, over time here at Kootenai, the coaching positions are people from within the community that have an interest in that sport or have kids in that sport or have some background in that sport.
Hasn't always been a staff member too, someone who was already.
Often, but not always.
Not always.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
But it will not be a full-time job, is it?
No.
No.
Okay, so it's a part-time job from somebody probably in the community. Okay.
Yeah. And it pays enough for not much. People do it because they want to do it and they enjoy it. They don't come and do it for the money.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Do you think we'll have any difficulty finding an appropriate person?
Nope. I already know someone who's interested.
I don't think so.
Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. So now we have the resignation of the athletic director.
So I wonder if we should do these separately, I think, because the new agenda actually has athletic director and special ed director together. Do we want to handle those separate?
I don't think you're going to have any worries when I'm done explaining it.
Okay, so want me to just go? I move we accept the resignation of athletic director and special education director.
Second.
Okay, discussion.
So
I think
we've already covered Mr. Naparella and his leaving the athletic director position.
Same guy, right?
Yes.
Yes. So Cody, our current special ed director, is on a half-time special ed directing contract for administration. He did that last year. He was renewed. He's been doing it this year. Last year was a special year for special education, to put it mildly, and there were a lot of things that needed to be fixed, repaired, up to date. You guys are aware of that. Now that those things are behind us and we're feeling very secure, Cody and I have been talking on and off since January about this, is he is comfortable cutting back his time. He feels that he does not have to be here as much as his current contract states. And I concur with that. And he said it would be beneficial to him to go on to be an independent contractor versus a straight employee of the district. In doing so, as recommended, we will save the district about $15,000 this school year yet by making this switch. He's in favor of it. I'm in favor of it. We've worked, I've had conversations with the rest of the special ed department, and there are fail safes in place so that if something, the wheels do fall off, it's not that Cody's leaving us and he will come back. And even then, we would still save a lot of money, if nothing else, simply because of the fact is that he won't be on our benefits. We won't be paying any benefits. So that in itself is going to save us several $1,000s. So this isn't any kind of disciplinary or anything like that. It's still beneficial of both parties.
I don't think I was paying attention, but did we vote on the last motion?
We did for the head football coach.
No, the athletic director.
So you
No,
just,
they're grouping them with the
yeah,
special.
there's a
ed.
new agenda sitting out in your loose leaf. And so the new agenda has the athletic director and the special ed director together.
Yeah, I see that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like,
So we're voting on them together at the
we're
moment.
voting on that, then we're moving to the contract, right?
Right.
Yes.
I was just explaining it because it's kind of tied.
Okay, so
Any more?
So first on the athletic director, then Doug's gonna stay in that role until the end of this school year.
Yep, till the end of the school.
Okay.
Effective the end of the 2021 school year. End of the school year is June 10th. Whatever the last is. Contract.
Okay. Um,
So then when does that get posted? Because we would want, like, you know how there's like okay. I was gonna say, is there like a season for?
No. And with athletic director, with our size of school, it's highly desirable to have that person already on staff versus trying to hire somebody out that doesn't know the teachers, doesn't know the kids, doesn't know everything.
Yeah.
Or maybe someone who's already done it, left, and they want to come back. Maybe.
Kimmy wants to coach.
No, I
So-
do not. You don't want me to coach. Let's put it that way.
So I think the more time we have, the better always. The athletic director is one of the job descriptions that I noticed as just a significant variance between what I believe the AD does and what that job description included. So, and one of the ones to focus on, right, in that initial list of making sure that if our athletic director position really is changing into an athletic director and activities director, that then the job posting would reflect that. Otherwise, reviewing the job description to make sure it's what we post, that they're aligned.
So are you saying we should review that before it's posted? Is that what I'm hearing?
I don't think there's probably any need to change the role as it exists. I just am not certain that that job description that was incled in the packet really reflects what's done by that person. And maybe I just have been kind of out of the loop on what all he does, but I think there's a bit more included than what we really do here in our district.
Yeah, I accidentally
Yeah,
went to
but
that
isn't that
conference.
normally the case? I mean, your candidate pool is somewhat limited in the area just because of population density. You're never going to find anybody with the right qualifications, who can do the entire job description. It's a question of what's available and what we can live with. And come as close as we can to those important activities. In my humble opinion.
Yeah, I think in our small district, the amount of work that's on the athletic director has always been pretty significant. And I think that it could lead to burnout just with the amount of travel time. We're not in town and depending on who that person is. So really looking at that role and making sure that if there's places that we can parse some of that off that would make sense, it might be an appropriate time to do so and make it a more enjoyable job for someone that's a little more balanced. And maybe I'm wrong, but.
Are you saying make it joint, have several people do it?
No, not necessarily, but there's,
These
So,
schools have an assistant.
an athletic director is supposed to be there at every game or sporting event, athletic event. And when you start looking at high school and junior high sports, that's every night being away from your house. And so, especially if you're then there all the way through cleanup. So I don't know exactly how it's structured right now. I would just kind of wanted to share with Wade that I think maybe right now we might be putting a little bit too much on that person, or in the past. I'm not sure exactly how it's structured, and without any sports this year, it's not as fresh in my mind as it would be normally when you're at basketball games all winter and it just, kind of got done with them. So I just think there's some opportunity to look at that right now and make sure that we do something that's the right fit to keep someone in there, because the experience that's built as an athletic director really dictates the way a sports seasons go for our kids, like how enjoyable and how much support we get from the community based on the way things are scheduled and the way the information's presented and handled. And there's just a lot that goes into it that I'd love to see us consider when posting the job.
So Wade, when this gets posted, you have your own custom description for the job posting. You don't just put that job description in, right?
Right. Before hiring, say for instance, we interview 3, 4, 5 people or whatever, and then narrow that search down to either the applicant or maybe the top 2 at that point. You make sure that before any contracts are signed and everything else, people fully understand the job description. If they're applying for it, they have a pretty good idea of what it may not know exactly, but they should have. If they don't have an idea what it is, they're not going to make it very far in the interview process.
Right,
So,
okay. But, so it sounds like though we should probably try to have this workshop within a couple weeks or so.
I think it'd be good considering how many jobs we've sort of got on the table right now.
Okay. All right. Any more discussion on these two?
So on the special ed director, so just for clarity's sake, so our previous superintendent prior to Dennis then was also our special ed director. Is that correct? Was it superintendent special ed?
Prior to Dennis?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. And then, so when Dennis came on, then that's when Cody came on as well? Was those kind of happened over that same period of time?
Yes.
Okay, and so then Cody came on as halftime or as full-time?
yeah,
As halftime?
Dennis hired Cody.
Okay. And then this, okay, and so then my next questions go into the next item. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm rolling over.
So keeping Cody, we're just paying him differently for a little less time.
By a little less time. What do you think that, so we went from, so we're at halftime to,
Well, the rest of this year, he averages 2.5 days a week. And for the rest of the year, he would work 1 day on site and then as needed off site. If we needed him, say for instance, we're going to do some interviews. He would come in for those kind of things, more of an as needed basis. And our projections for the rest of the year isn't really needing him more than a day a week.
And that's enough support for the paras.
The structure's in place, the routines are already in place, scheduling, all that's been taken care of. So unless for some reason we have a large influx of special ed students, which you never know, but I'm not anticipating it, there's none on our horizon. And then if that's the case, then we just have to go ahead and see him. So we're going to need you 2 days a week for a while or something along those lines.
You're fading out again, Wade.
I'm getting old, Hank. I'm getting old. I'm fading.
You're fading? No, you're not. A little more gusto.
okay, I'm good for now.
Okay, so can we have a vote on the resignations and then we'll jump into the contract? Is everybody ready? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Bringing us to the contract, which,
I move that we accept the consulting agreement with Cody Karst as written, submitted.
do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, discussion? Do we have the
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. It's in the back of the agenda. Okay, got it.
So,
So did-
Yeah.
It's, oh, you have, okay.
I read it.
Okay. Any discussion?
so the term of the agreement is on a month-to-month basis. So that's it. That's the only term that's anywhere within here. Okay. And then, where's it at? So when it says the estimated total hours of service to the district is 140 hours,
Which number are we in?
number 10 in compensation. Page 3 of 7, the top line. So the 140 hours is over what period of time? I don't know. I just kept getting, because when I did the hourly rate times 140, I got to significantly more. So I think I just wasn't reading this quite right.
hours. That was at 8 hours a day. Counted out 1 day a week from March 10th to June. I don't remember how many weeks that was. 4, 12, 16, something, 15, 16.
Okay.
From March until June?
March 10th to June 10th.
So if we just say,
13 to 14 weeks. somewhere.
Full week.
so if we say 14 weeks and times 8 hours,
Mhm.
okay, so that's 112.
And we added some extra in there because we figure, unforeseen things.
Okay,
I'd rather be a little on the heavy side than on the light side.
okay. But if I do the math of 140 times 50. Oh, but it's for that entire period. Okay, that's, okay.
I had a question about the $30 per hour for driving.
Mhm.
Is that for him to get to the campus, like a paid commute? Is that normal? I want to get paid to commute.
It's not considered commuting if he's a subcontractor. He's self-employed. That's not considered commuting. It's only commuting if you are W-2 wage.
When our
I just-
attorneys charges that too to come down here.
Yes, they do. Our psychologist who lives in Napa Caldwell, they her travel, that could get lodging and per diem and everything else.
But that's travel status. I mean, this is commuting, even if it's not called commuting. I'm just asking because it seems weird to pay somebody to drive to their job.
Someone
site.
that's local, I think is the difference for me,
Yeah.
like when Dennis or a psychologist or someone are coming from significantly out of the area, it feels different than to
Then
me
they're in
than
the travel
someone.
status, in my mind. Any other discussion?
So in terms of the additional resources and the office space, computer supplies, et cetera, then does he have at present, or will it be different, the office supplies that he'll need in terms of working remote, making sure that it's only through the school servers and such, not through personal email, et cetera? It's all set up already?
Yeah, just like he would normally.
Okay.
Difference would be, I'm pretty sure he has a school laptop as well. School electronics, obviously he has his own internet at home, but, all the secure things would be the same. He'd still have school internet address, et cetera.
So in this, it says that he will do some more specific reporting, just based on this change, right? I don't remember where it's at exactly, just to keep you apprised of his activities. I would love to see as a part of that, like the number of students to some type of quantitative, not just the qualitative, right? So that we can, if this particular scenario doesn't work, that we can kind of understand the threshold of this is too much work to handle with this type of arrangement. I'm just not sure about the separation. Like, to me, I feel like you feel a lot more when you're in the school district about the needs of certain student groups and such. And if there's a separation there, I just want to make sure that we're serving all of our needs. So keeping track somehow of, okay, at this time when we switch to this, we have X students that are currently within these programs, and we have X number of paras and whatever we need to do, so that we can just kind of watch that and watch the hours and see if there's ever a point that maybe this isn't the right scenario. I'm supportive of seeing if it works. I'd love to save the district money. If we don't need that time, I think that's great. But I want to be set up well to have a gauge of understanding that we see this population of our students growing, and we know we may need to make a change to be able to budget for that, to plan for that, to staff for that. So I think that that's just important with this kind of change. Maybe I'm overthinking it, but.
Any more discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
Aye.
I didn't get the information.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Sale of the Chromebooks.
Per district policy, anytime we have excess stuff, I need to inform you that we're going to get rid of that excess stuff. So through the CARES Act and the state program, we were able to give all of our kids brand new Chromebooks with still a lot of extras. So we've taken some of the older ones off. Many of them, we've been notified that they're not even going to be supported anymore. So we can let them sit on our shelves and become truly archaic and never see any use, or sell them to our students at very low price so that they can do whatever they want
Can
with
you
them.
speak up a little bit, Wade, please?
Sure. Did you hear any of that?
Yeah, Chromebooks.
Chromebooks, okay. So through the CARES funding, we were able to secure enough Chromebooks to give all of our students new ones, as well as have several in storage for backup and to give to new students. This created a backlog. This created a backlog of old Chromebooks, some of which were no longer going to be updated anymore. And so instead of just letting them sit and become truly wasteful, I'd like to sell them to our students at a very low reduced price so that they can have at least something for home. There will be no warranty with them. They'll be sold as is, but they'll still be a good deal for the kids that or families that want to buy them.
What software do they come equipped with?
Chrome.
I mean, is
They're like-
It's like our Chromebooks?
No, there's no Windows or anything on Chromebooks.
It's truly Chrome.
Yeah, so you access stuff like that.
What?
What was that?
Have a lottery. Why not give them away? You're not going to charge more than what, 25 or 30 bucks, something like that?
I was thinking probably 10.
How many are
10
there?
bucks. Why don't you give it away? And if you have more people who want them than you have, then just have a lottery or something for them.
Yeah, we would have given them away. We could certainly do that. How many?
Well, you could also use it as like a fundraiser for, yeah.
What about students who
How would that
are,
work?
when they graduate, would they be, oh, well, never mind, because that
a
doesn't last. very long.
graduation gift?
But
Here's an obsolete joke. Go forth and do
it's not like, could it be helpful for some students going on to college? And I don't really know much about.
You're somebody talking.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Kimmy, but just don't listen.
Kimmy was just right.
Kimmy, just don't, it's fine.
I like to listen to kids.
No, it's fine.
She was talking about possibly giving them out as, at graduation to the students who graduate.
I don't
Hearing
think-
you repeat it.
I hear it now.
So you use like Google Docs. There's no Windows software or anything on them. So if you need Excel or a word processing, then you use Google.
You have to go buy it.
No, you can use it online. It's just limited and it's not as
How many families do we have? Not how many students, but how many families do we have within our, like how many households do we have within our student population?
I don't know.
You don't know that?
I don't know.
We don't, it's not more than 100, is it? I mean, when you think of siblings and, is it? I don't know. I don't know our family size right now.
Probably around 100. a little more than that.
So it's almost like one per family-ish right now?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Probably fall short by a few and then good.
Almost.
I think you could do $10 or so a Chromebook. It has value. And then use that as a fundraiser for something, some class, lock-in, whatever, some kind of.
How would the fundraiser work?
They pay $10 a Chromebook and it goes into an account.
That Wade uses for something that's appropriate.
Or, yeah. I don't know, just saying, I mean, we could give them
Yeah,
away,
we-
but you could also use it, like my daughter did a fundraiser for whatever. And so this could be something that would help. She's doing the jogathon, so I know there's little projects and things they do to try to raise money for, and this could boost without being $10 is not a burden, I don't think, to most any family.
Then they show
Lunches
up
are free
and
this year
Yeah.
and breakfast, so $10.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, by fundraiser, I thought you meant somebody would buy them all and
Oh,
then give them away.
oh, no.
And more than $10 each.
Oh, no.
Do you want
Do
to
you
do
want,
that,
do
Hank?
you want? We'll sell you one for 200.
How many do you have?
Sounds like 100.
Not 100.
You're gonna give away.
I don't know the exact number, probably between 80 and 100-ish.
I
Yeah,
would,
so we're talking, what, $1,000? I'll do that. I'll give the school $1,000 if you give the things away.
So,
All right.
I'd love to see him get it at least into each household that has a need.
Thanks,
To
Hank.
make sure to look at it from a slightly different perspective than we sometimes do.
Amanda's saying that she would love to see one get into each household if possible, if we have enough.
If that's okay with you, Hank, because it's your cash.
They're officially yours. They're officially yours. You can, I guess, technically can decide.
I'm donating it to the school,
Oh,
and
okay.
the school will give them away with whatever criteria they wish.
all right,
But just keep it off the board agenda. So Wade, why don't you decide?
okay, will do.
Yeah, no, this is informational.
Thanks, Hank.
Welcome. Welcome.
You're almost acting like you want to stay on the board for a while. You're gonna get
What do you mean
reelected.
that?
You're gonna get reelected if you keep it up. Okay. All right. Junior, senior, high school closure.
I move we approve the closure of the junior and senior high school to being off-site on 2/11 due to COVID.
Second.
Kimmy seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay. That brings us to the fun stuff. Policy. How would everybody like to go about the policy?
I think we can tackle it all at once today. This is maybe one of the only times I've felt that way, but I think we're good to do it in one fell swoop.
That's the answer I was hoping for.
Like me to make a motion?
Yes.
I move that we approve the policy as recommended, which is approving all of the recommendations.
Second.
Thank you, Richard.
Okay. No one has any discussion?
I loved it. The yellow, the strike throughs made life super easy to see the changes. Thank you so much.
We'll get there. You just gotta be patient.
Thank you. It was really easy to look through the changes, so it was great.
Any more discussion? Don't believe it. All those in favor? Aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, motion carries.
That's a record.
That's amazing. Okay. My packet blew up, so let me find.
291.
Teacher comments.
Do you have any comments, Mr. Reinhardt?
Or Mr. Reinhardt?
Dang it. Yeah, I really wanted somebody to comment on something. No? Okay. All right.
Think I've ever heard him be quiet?
That brings us to spring sports. Do we have a motion?
I move we approve spring sports as recommended.
Second.
Thank you, Richard.
Any discussion besides awesome?
Woohoo. Let's go.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries.
So for the public, it's recommended that we have track as scheduled. And say it, so.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, student progress, correct? Yep.
Agenda item, but there is nothing, I have nothing to report.
Okay. Dean of Students Report, Mr. Kirby.
Good. I'm gonna get closer so he can hear me and they can see me.
You can hold it if you want.
Right here. All right, so, I put a few things on here just to update you on what's been going on in the last month. So we had a crisis team meeting on February 17th.
Mr. Kirby, are you underwater?
You might want to just
No.
hold it, just grab it.
Okay. All right, so we had is that better? Yes?
Terrific.
Okay, perfect. All right. So we had a crisis team meeting on February 17th. It had been over a year since we met, so we just wanted to shore up some of the procedures for in the event of a crisis. And so Officer Broche ran that meeting, did a very nice job. So we got kind of updated on procedures, got a big packet of stuff. We updated our calling tree, things like that. Those good?
Your what tree, what'd you call it?
Calling tree.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. I
yeah.
heard calming, I was like, what?
Okay. Yes, we have a calming tree out back. Anybody who's interested.
Holy cow.
Welding open house. Tony Pfeiffer did a great job with this. It was on February 23rd. We had about 25 people there, which was good, including parents and students and some staff. That welding program is going very well. I get in there quite a bit and check it out. And the students are working very hard and learning a lot, so that's going well. Sources of Strength is a program that is nationwide. It's a great program. It's an anti-suicide and teen positivity program that we've adopted at our school, and it's moving down into the junior high. So the junior high was actually, at the time this was written, they were gonna be training on the 25th or the 26th, but that had to be postponed because of other things. So I don't know when they're expecting to do that.
I think Iva said this Friday.
Are they?
maybe.
Okay, okay, perfect. Rodeo Club is off and running. Sherry Tout, I talked to her the other day. She said they had 15 students coming,
Wow.
which is awesome. Yeah. Yeah, very exciting. That was at their second meeting. They had more than their first meeting. So that's pretty cool. I believe they have 2 meets or rodeos scheduled, both in Cambridge at this point. Is I believe what's on the schedule. Trap Club. We have 8 students signed up for that. That's going to be held in St. Mary's at the St. Mary's shooting range. Ron Nelson is heading that up, and Ed Bresnan as well. So they're going to be able to compete without having to leave their range. They just report their scores from there, so they're not going to have to travel anywhere, which is great. So, yeah, they were very excited about that. Yes. Track began on March 1st. We have 16 kids out. That's
Really?
Yeah. Very exciting.
In the high school?
In the high school, yeah. Yep. And
That's
junior high
awesome.
signups have not started yet.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
great.
it's great turnout. So that's been going really well. The kids were cold today, but we have a high school lock-in scheduled for Friday. That sounds scary. A lock-in is supposed to be a fun thing. It's where the kids come and hang out all night from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. And it's just play games and have fun together. They did it last year and the kids really enjoyed it, so they wanted to do it again. So, yeah, I don't know how many are signed up to go, but expect a good turnout based on last year.
How
And
is it supervised?
we have
Or
teachers,
is it?
yeah. We have teacher supervision. Our SRO is coming. I will be there. Coach Naparello will be there. And Stroh may come for a little bit. He had some things come up. Mr. Greer will be there. And I believe Mrs. Evans will be there.
Is it all in one room, like the gym or something?
It's in the gym and in classrooms. They'll have different things set up, games, tournaments, movies.
That's fun.
Yeah, yeah.
We did one back.
They can win a Chromebook.
Winners get a Chromebook.
Percentage of students. Last year we had, I want to say 75% of the kids attended.
That's great.
Yeah. And finally, I just wanted to include attendance as far as district-wide. We are up 7 students from this time last year before closure, which I think is pretty amazing.
That's awesome.
Yes,
Indeed.
that's something to celebrate. That's all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for speaking up too.
Yeah.
Mr. Palude.
I have nothing to add to my report.
Well, that's why you're speaking up, because you've got nothing to say.
No, because you just,
You say something important, you say it's so voce.
I just wanted to make sure that Kirby didn't show me up too much.
He did.
I know, pretty much a daily occurrence around here. Yeah. No, I don't really have anything to add other than my report. With the exception then of the interviews for the principal position. They have been set up for March 20th. It's a Saturday. The process will look, we're going to interview 3 applicants. We will have 3 different sessions, one made up of staff members, one made up of family members, parents, community members, and then a third of students. So the applicant they'll rotate between those 3. Each session will be about 50 minutes. I will lead the staff. I have 2 teachers that will lead the students, one senior high and one junior high teacher. They are each working with students to develop questions and students to participate. And then for the board, I've asked Amanda and Rich to sit in for the community, and then they will lead that session.
Great.
So that's kind of the way it's set up. The way it will be set up is each session will have about 15 questions to ask. And then an interviewer will then put on their card, that they'll have cards of a 1 through 5 of how well the applicant answered that question. So if the question was, for instance, why did you come to Kootenai? And the person gives their response, then each interviewer will mark either 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, depending on how they felt they answered that question. And then after all is said and done, I will collect those responses and add them up. Looking at if there's a clear winner or if it's close. And then at that point, if there are individual interviews that I need to sit down with, if it's close, background checks, reference checks, contract negotiations, all of that sort of thing. Does that make sense to everybody? You like to yell at me.
Yeah, and then you will make the decision on the principal.
I will make the final trigger pull and recommend that person to the April board meeting.
Not necessarily the one with the highest numerical score.
Possibly not, correct.
Okay, all right. And how does the pool look?
We've got 6.
Anybody can be outstanding?
I believe that the 3 applicants that were selected are all outstanding. Our Dean of Students, Nolan Kirby, is one. We have a gentleman from Indian Springs, California, with a lot of good experience, and another gentleman from Galena, Alaska, with some good experience as well. Each has their strengths, each has their weaknesses. I believe it's a good race between the three. I think we're very fortunate. Of the 16 applications, we had several that were less than adequate. We had some that weren't bad, but I feel that the three that were chosen were all very good.
We don't pay for relocation, they pay for that themselves?
I don't think we have. I mean, it could be technically negotiated, but I wouldn't anticipate that.
Okay.
Anything else for Mr. Palud?
I think you didn't put in here your levy meetings, but thank you for being available and for putting that together and making it available to the community. I really appreciate that.
Everybody go vote.
So vote
Yeah.
tomorrow. I'll be sending out this, today I sent out a messenger to all of our families, an email messenger reminding them tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, they'll get a text messenger.
At 5 a.m.?
Might make it 6.
So, good
They'll get
morning, go vote.
Early in the morning, just a reminder to go and vote.
Awesome. Okay, anything else? That brings us to board meeting input for the next agenda. So we have job descriptions. We need, and it's my bad for not getting in touch with you, but we need to have the survey, the staff survey on the next one. So it can get approved and implemented before the school year ends, which will come fast.
So you've got job descriptions, staff survey, you'll also have the principal.
To approve. Okay. Anything else, anyone? Kimmy, you want to add something? Just cause? Okay. Anyone else? Amanda?
Well, are we gonna schedule the workshop right now or? Okay.
Yeah, it won't be on the next agenda, but we do need to schedule the workshop. Yep.
Yeah, I would do that right now.
Okay.
I would just suggest, Madam Chair, if I could, that you not do it the week of the 29th through
During spring break? Oh, come on. How
I will
about,
not be as gracious as Hank and call in. Just say, you guys want a workshop on your own? You go right in.
you might be in the same boat with me.
what? Can't believe it. It's gonna be fun.
We should do this with Hank at his place,
Which one?
San Diego.
Amen.
We get travel.
Hank would like to come down to your place.
Do we want to do it on
You know.
are we having the policy, the third Thursday of the month is
Oh.
reserved for workshops? Although that's St. Patrick's Day and I don't know if people,
Well.
That's
is
Wednesday.
it? Oh, Wednesday.
You kind of want to get this done. Would you prefer to maybe go with next week?
That would
You could
be
do it on.
the 18th. If it was a Thursday.
If you did Thursday, but you could also do a Monday.
I'm out of town Monday and Tuesday of next week.
Wednesday's St. Patrick's Day.
I'm tied up on Thursday.
Wednesday,
What about this Thursday? Is that?
everybody wear
time?
green? What's that?
Enough time for us to put- Yeah, that's
No.
enough time with the-
And I have city council Thursday,
You have what?
city council, or city meeting, so.
So this
22nd?
Thursday.
What's up, 22nd?
22nd?
I can't, 22nd.
25th?
I'm on, I got training.
24th?
23rd?
Nolan can't be there either.
23rd?
Not that you would never.
23rd. Going once,
Fine.
going twice? 23rd.
What time? Usually a workshop would be 5.
5 or 6, yeah.
Let Amanda decide. She's got the busier schedule. I
5 or
think.
6, but Kimmy,
If we do 6, we need to have dinner, or we could potluck it.
6
I don't
with
care,
dinner?
That's fine.
Well, I think if it is 5 or 6, you would have dinner.
so I'm good on the, what did we say, 23rd?
I'll bring ramen.
At 5 or 6, I'm okay.
Ramen noodles.
Are you available, Hank, March 23rd?
She works for the government.
Yes, sir.
That's a
We just
Tuesday.
heard about that.
So-
Tuesday.
It is
And
Tuesday, the
So
23rd.
what time did you decide? 5 PM?
Sure.
What time?
5 PM,
How long will it last?
4 hours.
And you'll need to let me know if you're on site or going to be on site or not. I'll be in contact with you.
I don't know how,
I've got a board meeting with the Kyoto Prize at 6:30 that night.
Are they more
Ramen.
important than the children?
Yeah, perfect. You called it.
Yeah, right. Sushi would be better.
oh, yes, I agree.
I'll fly down for that.
What time was it at, Hank? Sorry.
6:30 to 7:30.
Okay, so 5 to 6:30.
Pacific?
Yeah, 5 to 6:30 is fine with me.
And if you have to leave and we have to finish the last few, then you'll be okay with that?
He doesn't have much
And
input.
this is on the job descriptions we're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, he's sitting there
Again, I
thinking,
don't have much to add on that, quite
is
honestly.
it necessary for me to even be involved?
But as a good board member, I will be there.
Thanks, Hank. Okay, anything else? If not, I need a motion to go into executive session.
Okay. I move we go into executive session pursuant to Idaho Code 74-206 subsection B, to consider the evaluation, dismissal, or disciplining of, or to hear complaints or charges brought against a public officer, employee, staff member, or individual agent or public school student.
Second.
Roll call vote. Oh, do we need discussion?
Richard Meyer,
Yes.
Hank Nordoff,
Yes.
Timmy Galley,
Yes.
Amanda Reinhardt,
Yes.
Carrie Hugo.
Yes.
All right, so now you guys have to.
Thanks for coming.
You're welcome to wait in the hall.
You must not have much to do. But thanks for coming
They're
anyway.
supporting Amanda.